So it's actually the end of the Daily Wire. It really is. I see no other way to present this to you as my audience. I just don't see any other way to tell this to y'all. It really does seem to be the slow but bitter end of the Daily Wire. Because apparently, the Daily Wire has now put a gag order on Candace Owens in the midst of them supposedly trying to organize a debate between Shapiro and Owens about anti-Semitism in Israel. So according to Glenn Greenwald, who's not necessarily a bad source. I mean, he's a journalist. He's solidified in the game for sure. Glenn Greenwald claims, as the Daily Wire publicly negotiated a debate with Candace Owens, it secretly sought and obtained a gag order against her. Due to a prior restraint order against Owens, the much anticipated debate with Ben Shapiro appears to be off. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Owens versus Shapiro, it was something I was looking for. I was looking for this. I wanted this debate to happen. If they were gonna be doing an event in Tennessee or like Miami, I would have gotten tickets and I would have gone to that event. Like, I would have went. The fact that it's being called off, man, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. If it's true that there's a gag order on Candace, this makes the beef even more exciting. And honestly, they really need to do this debate. I need a promo intro. I need the lights to go out. I need all sorts of, it's gotta be cinematic. But to be serious here, Glenn Greenwald apparently got this information from someone. I would have to imagine probably from Candace. I mean, he probably won't snitch on Candace, but I would have to imagine Glenn Greenwald got this information from somebody. Now, we don't know if it's exactly true, but here's what he has to say. So on April 5th, Candace Owens publicly invited her former Daily Wire colleague, Ben Shapiro, to a debate about Israel and the current definition of anti-Semitism. It was Owens' criticisms of the U.S. financing Israel and her criticisms of Israel's war in Gaza that caused her departure from the Daily Wire 2 weeks earlier. Okay. I'm not a Candace Owens fan, but we also have to talk about the fact that, Candace Owens also spoke, I'm not, some big Daily Wire supporter, but we do also need to acknowledge Candace Owens was saying some questionable stuff about Jewish people. And I can understand why the Daily Wire probably, felt the need to distance themselves from her because she was speaking about Jewish people in some interesting ways. Okay? She basically applied the same smoke to Jewish people that she applied to black people. And I think she forgot that these people hire you, right? They don't mind you being this way toward your own race, but don't be this way toward theirs. So both Shapiro and Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring responded by saying they would like to arrange the debate requested by Owens. That night, Shapiro appeared to accept her offer, writing on X, "Sure, Candace, I texted you on February 29th offering this very thing." The Daily Wire co-founder added, "Let's do it on my show this Monday at 5 p.m. at our studios in Nashville, 90 minutes live streamed." After Owens objected to the format and timing, she and Boring exchanged several tweets in which they appeared to be negotiating, and then agreed to the terms and format of the debate. Owens had suggested the debate be moderated by Joe Rogan or Lex Friedman. Shapiro said he wanted no moderator, which was a bad idea against someone like Candace Owens. That's just a bad idea. Candace Owens needs in order to debate Candace Owens and force her to actually take the L if you're winning, two things have to be present. Number one, a moderator. Number two, an audience. Y'all saw what happened when Candace and Destiny debated and they had no moderator or live audience. Candace held the debate at gunpoint. Well, if you're not going to let me finish, I don't want to talk about this anymore. If you want to debate Candace and win, you have to have the pressure of a moderator and a live audience in order to force her to accept a loss if she's losing. There's no other way. So Ben saying he wanted no moderator is a ridiculous idea. And it's also really unfair because it's okay, y'all are now basically enemies, and you're having her come to the Daily Wire studio to debate on your show. I don't know about that. If it's going to be on your show at the Daily Wire studio, how about someone who's impartial comes in to moderate? Ben, you can't lose if you have a moderator here. You only gain from having a moderator. Joe Rogan, I trust Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman completely. They ultimately agreed to the terms, with Boring offering a series of conditions, including a no moderator debate, with Owens publicly accepting. 2 weeks later, many readers of both Shapiro and Owens noticed and complained that the debate had not yet happened. I forget how quickly debates happen these days. It doesn't take months to put together anymore. This shit happens within weeks. On April 24th, Owens addressed those inquiries by explaining that the Daily Wire had yet to propose dates, while reiterating her strong desire to ensure that the debate happened. I don't think Candace is winning this one. I don't think she's winning. In fact, she needs more time to prepare. If she's going to debate Ben, which is perfectly fine, she needs more time to prep. But the debate was never going to happen. That is because the Daily Wire, in secret and unbeknownst to its readers, sought a gag order to be placed on Owens after she had called for a debate. They did this under the cover of secrecy before a private arbitrator at exactly the same time that they were claiming in public that they wanted this debate and were even negotiating the terms with her. To this date, the Daily Wire has not informed its readers, seeking to understand why the much anticipated debate had not yet happened. They had sought and obtained a gag order against Owens. So, my problem with this is I trust Glenn Greenwald on this kind of stuff. The problem is there's no genuine source. Now, of course, no good journalist reveals their secret source, but it's going to be interesting to see what the Daily Wire says about this. Apparently, Jeremy Boring has denied that this is true, but he got this information. Greenwald got this information from somewhere. And there does need to be an explanation for why this isn't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand, like, why any of this is, like, for some reason, Candace is the only one addressing the fact that it isn't happening. The Daily Wire has kind of maintained a low profile with this. I don't know. And if it is true that the Daily Wire used secrecy to silence Owens, the Daily Wire needs to realize nothing happens in secret, especially in politics. Nothing. If y'all are going to do something, make sure it's public. If you know it'll hurt your brand, just don't do it. Like, trying to have a gag order placed on Candace behind the scenes is dumb. Someone's going to say something. You guys are involved in the game of politics. You've sold an image of free speech for years. This is, I forget sometimes how old the Daily Wire guys actually are. They actually think you can still keep things under wraps in 2024. When seeking a gag order to be imposed on Owens, the Daily Wire accused her of violating the non-disparagement clause of her agreement with the company. To substantiate this accusation, the company specifically cited Owens' initial tweet requesting a debate with Shapiro as proof of this disparagement, along with concerns that she voiced that Shapiro appeared to be violating the confidentiality agreement between them by publicly maligning Owens' views to explain her departure from the company. While the company claimed before the arbitrator that it did not object in principle to a healthy debate, it urged the imposition of a gag order on Owens by claiming that the way she requested the debate constituted disparagement of Shapiro and the site. Okay, like I said before, I'm really gonna need documents here that proves this. Kind of like how someone leaked those Daily Wire emails of that super secret confidential meeting between all the Daily Wire employees that was not supposed to be leaked to the public. I need those. I need documents, Glenn. I need documents. And the reality is, although there's no evidence of any of this, there doesn't need to be. Glenn Greenwald is a reliable source in the space, especially conservative circles. Even if all of this is false, because it's coming from Glenn Greenwald, it's going to cause significant damage to the Daily Wire's image. Also, because we've seen secret meetings be planned by email, and we've also found out in the past that Daily Wire and the Daily Wire and Candace had a non-disclosure agreement or something behind the scenes. So no one's going to be surprised to find out that a gag order is being placed. This is a horrible look. So, to justify the gag order it wanted, the company also cited various criticisms of the Daily Wire and Shapiro on X that Owens had liked. This proceeding took place as part of an exchange of legal threats between the parties after the public agreement to debate about Israel was solidified. Those threats arose from the fact that various Daily Wire executives and hosts, in both public and private, were castigating Owens as an anti-Semite. On March 22nd, Daily Wire host Andrew Klavan published a 1-hour video that hurled multiple accusations, including anti-Semitism at Owens. The Daily Wire cited Owens' response to that video, her defense of herself from those multiple accusations, as further proof that she needed to be gagged. The initial tweet from Owens not only requested a debate, but also included a video from the popular comedian Andrew Schulz, who had mocked the Daily Wire for firing Owens over disagreements regarding Israel, and specifically mocked Shapiro for his willingness to debate only undergraduate students. The tweet underneath Owens' original debate request included a summary of Schultz's mockery of Shapiro, which stated, "Schultz now realizes, in quotes, realizes Ben Shapiro is only good at debating college liberals and can't win debates against serious competition." I don't think any of that's true. I think Ben obviously has been debating bums for years, and by bums I mean college kids. But he held his own pretty well against Destiny. I don't think Ben Shapiro is by any means a guy who can be taken lightly just because the majority of his competition has been weak. I think he's someone who's very aware of the fact that he could lose to someone who's experienced, and I don't think that Ben takes his opponents lightly. I think Ben is very confident that he can defeat Candace, and I think that Candace, if she's smart, will take her time preparing for this debate with Ben. Don't let Ben or anyone prompt you or pressure you into a quick debate, like, a debate within weeks, because I don't think Candace is ready for this topic. I don't think she is. I don't think Ben is someone who's only good at debating kids. I think as it, that sounds crazy, as it pertains to this topic in specifics, Israel-Palestine, Candace needs to take Ben seriously. After the prior restraint hearing sought by the Daily Wire and Shapiro, the arbitrator sided with them and against Owens. The arbitrator agreed with the Daily Wire that Owens' call to debate Shapiro and her follow-up negotiations of the debate constituted disparagement of the company and Shapiro. The company argued that any further attempt by Owens to debate, as well as her suggesting that the debate would expose the Daily Wire's real priorities, constituted criticisms of the site and of Shapiro, criticisms that the arbitrator concluded Owens was barred from expressing under her contract with the company. So Owens is still under contract, apparently. The arbitrator thus imposed a gag order of prior restraint on Owens. Among other things, the order banned Owens from saying or doing anything in the future which could tarnish or harm the reputation of the Daily Wire and or Ben Shapiro. Given that the Daily Wire had argued, and the arbitrator agreed, that Owens' offers to debate Shapiro about Israel and anti-Semitism were themselves disparaging, the Daily Wire has ensured that the debate with Owens that they publicly claimed to want could not, in fact, take place. Any such debate would be in conflict with the gag order they obtained on Owens from expressing any criticisms of the site or of Shapiro. When asked for comment to be included this story, Owens replied, "I wish I could comment on this, but I can't." She added, "Can neither confirm nor deny." Again, Glenn, I need screenshots of DMs or some shit. It's 2024, bro. It's not 2004. Boring said, "Your story is inaccurate to the point of being false," though he did not specify a single inaccuracy, nor did he deny that the Daily Wire had sought and obtained a gag order on Owens at the same time that they were publicly posturing as wanting a debate with her. Well, that's what he said. He said your story is inaccurate to the point of being false. That's he's denying what you're saying, G. The confirmation we obtained of all these facts is indisputable. We want to see the confirmation, Glenn. Can you post it, please? Boring added, "I'm sure you can appreciate how fraught a high-profile breakup like this is. For that reason, we are trying to resolve our issues with Candace privately." That kind of sounds like you're self-snitching. I'm not gonna lie, that didn't sound too good. Okay, we understand you guys are having a bad breakup, but to be sitting there saying we're trying to resolve our issues with Candace privately, you're kind of basically saying that Glenn is right, that you guys had a switch up moment where you decided that gagging this situation is better than it spiraling. Which, to be honest, I'll say that for the end. It certainly seems true that the Daily Wire is attempting to achieve all of this privately. Nonetheless, Ben Shapiro has constructed his very lucrative media brand and persona based on his supposed superiority in debating, a reputation cultivated largely as a result of numerous appearances at undergraduate schools around the country where he intrepidly engages with students who are often in their teens or early 20s. Okay, hold up. This is crazy. It's crazy how Ben was the right's debate lord, but now that he's fallen out with Owens, he's a bum who only debates kids. like this is too good to be true. As a Democrat, as a liberal, I am enjoying all of this to the utmost extent. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is funny. Like, I'm sorry. This is comedy to me. It's crazy how now that Ben is no longer in favor and in the good graces with this wing of populist conservatives, now all that debate work he put in is bunk. To be fair to Ben, colleges are where a lot of these kids are indoctrinated. Someone has to go talk to them and tell them that they're wrong about some things. I don't think it's necessarily indicative of Ben being a debate bum. Right? Like, I'm not, like, yeah, like, trying to say he's a bum who only debates kids. Like, Ben Shapiro has not only debated college kids. We know this is true. I'm just going to give Ben a little bit of grace here. Okay? So it goes on to say, both Shapiro and the Daily Wire have also predicated their collective media brand on an eagerness to engage in free and open debate with anyone, and to vehemently oppose any efforts to silence people, especially those in media, from expressing their political views. It was the imperatives of this media branding that presumably led the Daily Wire and Shapiro to publicly agree to a debate with Owens over Israel and anti-Semitism in the first place. Indeed, when it became apparent early after the start of Israel's war in Gaza that Owens had major differences with Shapiro, Boring responded to calls from Israel supporters for Owens to be fired by proclaiming in November, "Even if we could, we would not fire Candace because of another thing we have in common. A desire to not regulate the speech of our hosts, even when we disagree with them. Candace is paid to give her opinion, not mine or Ben's. Unless those opinions run afoul of the law or she violates the terms of her contract in some way, her job is secure and she is welcome at the Daily Wire." But a mere 4 months later, Owens, despite being one of the company's most popular hosts, was out. The company had concluded that her increasingly vocal criticisms of Israel, opposition to U.S. financing of it, and her views on anti-Semitism were incompatible with the Daily Wire's policies. All of those issues would likely have been the subject of the public debate that Owens sought, and the Daily Wire claimed to want. Instead, the Daily Wire has succeeded in obtaining a gag order that, on its face, prevents Owens in advance from questioning or criticizing both the Daily Wire or Shapiro in any way. Let me make sure that Glenn is the one who wrote this. Ooh, Glenn personally wrote. Oh, this is his website. Never mind. Let's see what the comments have to say. What do Glenn's goons, the Greenwald goons, have to say? I can't see the comments, so I need to sign up to see what your audience says. Glenn, you're hiding too much. Okay. Let's talk about this, okay? Something that needs to be acknowledged, and I hate to say it this way because it's so unfortunate, but the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories regarding the Daily Wire are only going to become stronger if this is true. This narrative of shady figures behind the scenes, orchestrating plots and schemes to derail debates and to gag order people, it's unfortunate that this is going to fuel the fires of anti-Semitism being directed toward the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro. And I'm not saying that I'm blaming the victim. I'm not saying the Daily Wire is somehow or another, I'm not blaming the Daily Wire for this. But it is, although, I laughed like, aha, the right's eating each other alive. It is kind of sad that, that anti-Semitic fringe of the right is only going to be incensed and spurred even further by seeing the Daily Wire allegedly engage in these kinds of tactics to silence Candace Owens. This is an F-up for the Daily Wire. It is. Hiring Candace Owens was the biggest mistake they ever made. And how but at the same time, how they handled Candace was also the biggest mistake they ever made. Ben Shapiro defended Gina Carano when she was fired by Disney for espousing opinions contradictory to those which Disney wanted to espouse. Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire hired Gina Carano and promoted her on their network, on their platform, and yet simultaneously believed that they reserved the right to fire Candace for the exact same thing they lambasted and criticized, got at Disney for doing. The hypocrisy is real from the Daily Wire, and people are seeing it. All these years of championing freedom of speech, all these years of defending and being the vanguards of the right to reserve your platform on XYZ site and be able to say this and do that. Now all of a sudden, it's no longer the case. And people are, of course, arguing, well, the Daily Wire is a private company. So was Disney. Disney's also, I believe, a private company. Or at least the company reserves the right to conduct itself in private affairs the way it sees fit. At least. Apparently, that only extends to the Daily Wire, but not to Disney. Interesting. The Daily Wire dug this grave for themselves. And as more and more of these narratives are posted by Glenn Greenwald, because Glenn is apparently claiming he's got this on good authority. And I don't know if he does. For all we know, Glenn's lying. But if he's telling the truth, even if he's not telling the truth, this narrative is going to boom all throughout conservative spaces. I saw that Breaking Point, Sagar, and Crystal already covered it. This is going to be big. The Daily Wire can never be taken seriously anymore because of how they handle the Candace Owens problem. If they really, the best way they could have handled it was this. Ben and Candace needed to debate, and Candace needed to stay on the platform. That was going to be the only way. However, the Daily Wire decided to, split ways with Candace. It is what it is. But the Daily Wire is done. They're over. I think I don't see them really. They'll never be seen the same ever again. They just can't. They'll never be seen as the bastion of free conservative speech, specifically free speech, anymore. Candace gets removed. Candace allegedly gets gag ordered. And it's really interesting, the silence we've been hearing from the Daily Wire camp for quite some time regarding this issue. It's been pure silence. So, with that being said, I think, personally, that the Daily Wire is going to have a hard time recovering from this, if at all. I don't know if they can recover from this. The reason why I don't really have a lot of confidence in their ability to recover from any of this is because their audience has been fed this ridiculous lie of free speech forever. No company reserves the right to fire anybody for anything, and now you want to tell your audience you reserve the right to fire Candace? I'm sorry, but you told your audience otherwise. You told them y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all want. You told your audience, we reserve the right to fire people who espouse opinions that aren't in line with the Daily Wire. Well, that's not what you told your audience for years. You told them that's wrong. That Disney shouldn't have fired Gina Carano. You guys have defended people from being fired by private companies for having the wrong opinions before. What's going on now? Your audience isn't primed for believing this kind of stuff. They don't agree with this kind of stuff. The Daily Wire is reaping, they're reaping what they've sowed. They are. I don't know if Glenn's telling the truth, but I can tell you this much. The reaction from the right, that will be real, that will be true, and that will be verified. You will see it all over Twitter. The Daily Wire is going to take a hit from this. I still respect Ben Shapiro as a debater, as a political commentator, but I don't see how I don't see how those guys over there, those conservative guys, are ever going to view the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro the same ever again. It's impossible. And then the whole gag order thing on Candace, if that's true, God, it's over for them. I don't know how they could possibly recover. I just don't see it. I don't see it. The Daily Wire is in a cooked position. I don't know. I'm not really surprised to see that this happened because, every company, all these conservatives play this game of free speech, but, you never know when it's your turn to have to figure out whether you want to keep someone who's like teetering on that line of, embracing insanity. You never know when it's going to be you who has to sit there and figure out like, man, we don't want this person saying this craziness on our platform. Because even outside of the anti-Israel stuff, she was saying some stuff about Jews and anti-Semitism that had the Daily Wire looking crazy. But what goes around, unfortunately, comes around. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you believe Glenn? I kind of believe Glenn. I'm not going to say it's true. All of this is alleged. So if the Daily Wire sees this, guys, I'm not saying you did it. I'm just saying it's alleged you guys did it. Do you guys believe Glenn? Do you think he's telling the truth? Who do you think he got it from? Do you think he got it from Candace? I think it's possible he did. Candace strikes me as someone who's very scorched earth. If you play with her, she will destroy you. I think Candace probably leaked it to him allegedly. I'm not saying she did, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did. The Daily Wire, by the way, Daily Wire, stop doing stuff in secret. Like, just stop. Like, if you think if you do it publicly it'll hurt your image, just don't do it. Like, it's not, like, it's 2024. If you do something like ordering a gag order on Candace, someone's gonna find out, leak it. Like, really? Get with the program, y'all. 2024 and y'all are doing secret gag orders, allegedly. How did y'all not know this was gonna leak and ruin y'all's brand? Whew. Man. And then the whole thing of, like, we want to solve this with Candace privately, like, okay. Well, y'all need to, like, publicly make it clear that you guys have communicated with Candace and that this is a joint thing. Because Glenn Greenwald is basically telling the audience, Candace is being gagged, Candace wants to speak but she can't, which is allegedly what he said in the article. He said, Candace wants to say something but she can't. The Daily Wire better show some evidence that Candace Owens wanted this to go private and didn't want to keep taking it public. They're gonna have to, I'm telling you, bro, like, it's not looking good, bro, for the Daily Wire, bro. Candace might be the end of them. Real talk. The only way they can redeem this is for Ben to face Candace. They gotta face each other. I don't know where, how, or what, but, like, and by the way, Ben, don't debate Candace with no moderator and no audience. Like, stop. Debate her with a moderator and a venue of live audience and live streaming. If you want to actually defeat her, you need to force that L. Candace, take your time. Don't let them press you. You need to research. I ain't gonna lie, Candace, I know you and Destiny ain't buddies, but if you want to beat Ben, I highly recommend you get in contact with Destiny. I think that this debate probably won't happen, which sucks so bad. Because, like, this is like UFC. Like, this is the perfect feud. This is the perfect beef. Owens versus Shapiro, like, this could, like, bro, come on, bro. There needs to be this should be a trilogy, like, bro. I don't know. I could see this being like a trilogy. Like, I could see debate 1, debate 2, debate 3. Like, this could fill up like a little college stadium, like a little, not like a football one, but like a small little basketball college stadium. Like, this could do numbers. Owens versus Shapiro. I'm just saying. The Daily Wire, y'all need to take this opportunity. Listen to what I'm saying. But it is what it is. Shout out to Brett Cooper. You know what I'm saying? Doing her thing at the Daily Wire. Gen Z in the building. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.